Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Mindset, and today we're going to be reviewing TOUGEN ANKI. So our story starts us off with a boy named Shiki Ichinose, and I gotta preface this first and foremost, those are airsoft. They're not real. Don't report me. They're not real. But dog, do you need that many? How much money is that, bro? That's a lot. Anywho, apparently he's been expelled from school and his father Tsuyoshi is not very happy. And what does Tsuyoshi do? He doesn't scold him. He doesn't punish him. He clubs him upside the head. But then again, to be fair to Tsuyoshi, your son is collecting a worrying amount of airsoft guns, probably on your dime that you're running a rundown liquor store on, and he doesn't even care he got expelled. So can you really blame the guy? And on top of that, he's saying some nasty stuff like, I'm so lucky that you and I don't share any blood. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Tsuyoshi, box him. Box him right now, because no way you're gonna do all this under my roof and then say some stuff like that. So anyway, after that tense moment, Shiki starts stewing in whatever makes him act like this, and Tsuyoshi gets a call for a beer delivery. And dog, why are you shooting at the walls in your house? I'm telling you right now, if my parents found out I was doing something like that, I'd get my ass whooped to kingdom come. So anyway, while Tsuyoshi's gone, Shiki starts monologuing about how he got found and how he got his name. And while he's gone, somebody knocks at the door. So you assume, it's just a guy coming to get some booze for a business party. Because, I mean, he's walking up in a pinstripe suit just for the door to get blown off its hinges. Dog, he got R6 breached like 5 pages in. What's going on? I don't lie though, the guy's got a fire fit on. So after they got R6 breached, they decided to switch games and GTA 5 run a car into this guy. So after that happens, Tsuyoshi drives off with Shiki in the car and he starts explaining, the real backstory about Shiki and whoever this guy is. So he goes on to explain that Shiki has Oni blood, and the guy in the suit has Momotaro blood. And while Shiki is having reasonably a tough time coming to terms with what the hell he's talking about, Momotaro Boy comes back to stab the roof with some sort of Zanpakuto. Like that looks like Ichigo's blade. Where did he get that? One second, while we're on the subject, I'd like to look something up real quick. Momotaro is also known as Peach Boy? Fuck it, I guess we're calling him Peach Boy. So after Peach Boy comes back and stabs the roof, they end up crashing into a warehouse, so they have to run away. But Shiki gets trapped in the air by whatever power system that Peach Boy is using. I assume that's the Momotaro power system. So Peach Boy goes on to explain how the Momotaro have been around for generations and have been hunting the Oni into hiding, and it eventually comes down to a standoff between Shiki's dad and Peach Boy. And no, no, no. Now, I was just saying it as a joke before, but now I'm serious. That's actually a Getsuga Tensho. So Shiki's dad and Peach Boy start clashing, and through the fight, we find out that apparently Shiki's dad used to be a member of the Momotaro, which, if you couldn't tell from that giant sword, you do now. And eventually, after enough fighting, Shiki's dad gets cut down, and they have this big emotional moment where he's protecting his son, and he wouldn't stop at anything to do so. And while all this is happening, Shiki is still stuck in the air having a Sungjin Woo level crash out monologue. He's just up there slowly losing it. And eventually, we go from one frame of him, what seems to be transforming, to 5 revolver barrels growing off of his fingers in this guy's face. So eventually, after a bit of monologuing, we find out what he transformed into, and oh my goodness, that is straight up the overkill perk. This man has master prestiged in a matter of seconds. And it's not even just master prestige with weapons either. He's just pummeling this guy. Dog, you went from beating down one of your old comrades to having a foot in your face. You must feel stupid right now. And he blew the entire building out. How is this guy not dead? I mean, it didn't look like he came out unscathed either. He's missing an arm. He's charred on half his body. Dog, just tap out. Like, dog, you went from beating the ass of an old man to getting your face stomped in by some sort of demon. If I see a dude start growing limbs made of guns and missiles, I'm going home. You can't pay me to fight that guy. But sadly, like a Wukong power pellet, Shiki's power up was only temporary. Peach Boy, noticing this, tries to take advantage of it, which people in Dragon Ball wouldn't understand. But Shiki's dad gets one last burst of energy, takes a hit, and forces Peach Boy to run off in a helicopter. But sadly, as all these things go, now that the big bad that's been introduced is gone, we have to deal with the sad stuff. Shiki's dad is dying, and he makes him promise that he'll be a man that's willing to fight for what's right, and how he wishes everyone could just live peacefully. Shiki tries to get him to stay awake, tries to get him out of there, but it just doesn't work, and sadly, while he's on his way out, Shiki tells him how he never got to apologize, and for the first time in this entire chapter, he calls him dad. I don't know what it is about shonen like this, but even if you've seen it 100 times, every time it still gets you. But as if intentionally finding him at the most emotional moment, this random dude in business casuals, carrying a briefcase, clipboard, umbrella, and wearing. Are those rollerblades, bro? Who are you? Bro, can you not see I'm having a moment here? What are you doing? This isn't a roller rink. But anyway, he knocks Shiki out, talks about whatever exam he's filling out on the clipboard, and so ends chapter 1 of 6 in volume 1. So chapter 2 starts us off with Shiki waking up in a giant ballroom with the guy who had just knocked him out and kidnapped him before the end of chapter 1. Dude, if I saw this when I woke up, I'd think I'm on acid. He's in a ballroom looking at a guy doing push-ups on an umbrella and still wearing these stupid rollerblades. But anyway, he introduces himself as Naito Mudano, and he goes in to explain the differences between Momotaro and Oni and how they have their different agencies. Just for when Shiki goes to ask questions when prompted, he tells him -1 on the exam for asking questions. Like, dude, you haven't even explained what's going on and you're deducting points. So Shiki tries to play nice with this guy. Hopefully, he'll let him out a little sooner so he can go see his old man. Hopefully, he's not dead yet. Just for the face he pulls to convince him he's being calm, to look like he's about to burst every blood vessel in his body. But Madonna tells him no and he's going to have to finish the exam. But then he takes a weird route and just suddenly goes, I don't think a necktie would look good on you. Shiki looks at him like, what are you talking about? Just for Mudano to take the necktie and throttle him while he's still in the chair. Yeah, man, I don't know who this Madano guy is, but honestly, I kind of like him now. He just does not care. Plus, he also carries himself in the same way Gojo and Uryu do. Just absolute haughty, better than you attitude. He's just a combination between the two, and it's awesome. But anyway, it turns out he was just doing that to get Sheikah to go berserk, and right when you think you're about to get a cool ass cutscene, it cuts away, and the entire room is demolished. Dog, what happened? There's craters in the floor, the ceiling, the walls. There's like some sort of fluid hanging from the ceiling. What happened here? Guarantee you when the anime gets made, which it's actually planning on release, it'll actually animate the fight. But once it's actually cut back, apparently Shiki snapped back too, and Mudano just beat him out of that berserk state, and Mudano tells him he failed. Shiki gets on his hands and knees, swallows his pride, and asks him to take him under his tutelage anyway, just for Mudano to go, no, I'm good. And it's just really aggravating Shiki, because he's on his hands and knees, swallowing his pride, and this guy's just like, nah, and he's still an asshole about it. Like, it's honestly kind of funny. And then right after all the begging, we find out how Mudano uses his powers, and apparently it's the same way that Attack on Titan does it. You have to make yourself bleed in order to activate your powers. Now, is it just me, or is there some sort of weird fetish going on in Japan that people have to damage themselves to access powers? Like, this is weird, man. But at the same time, it's pretty sick. So Shiki tries to go for one more attack just to try and convince him one last time that he's still got hope in being a good student. And he actually learns right away that he can use the damaging to activate his powers. And though he may not have control over it, he's still proven he's a quick learner on how to get a hold of his abilities. So Mudano is officially impressed and takes him under his wing. So getting into chapters 3 and 4, Mudano is giving Shiki a breakdown of how these powers actually work. And basically, they're powered off of emotions. And while Mudano is cool-headed about his abilities and stays rational, Shiki just goes full-blown emotions, no rhyme or reason to what's going on. And after that explanation, it cuts immediately to Shiki going to school with Mudano, and he's just explaining how the school works, what they're going to be learning, all that good stuff, right? So when he goes into the classroom to meet his classmates, you come face to face with Kakashi? And it's not just him. The second guy you get introduced to looks just like our main character, Shiki. You also got Tsunade and Kugisaki combination. You got, I'm gonna be honest, that dude just looks like a human Pelipper. And then finally, you have to have this universe's Hinata. Oh, sorry, not finally, because we can't forget Ida. So now that all the introductions are out of the way, they immediately jump right into the first class, which is literally just a culling of who should stay and who shouldn't. So basically, the game goes like this: they have to go out and find the balls, Dandadan style, that Mudano has thrown out into the woods. You cannot complete the game without these balls. If you're detained by the teacher, you're out. If you leave without the balls, you're out. And if you can't find the balls within 1 hour, you're out. Oh, and he forgot to mention, there's only 3 balls, so only 3 of 7 of these students are actually going to complete the challenge and go back to class, while the others are just going to get booted. So then he starts getting into all the limits he's going to put on himself, just for Jin Kakashi to interrupt, asking if they can kill him. Which, I don't know why you think you can, because he's probably the dude that beat all of you and dragged you here, so I don't know why you think you all of a sudden have more power than him. But hey, he doesn't seem to care, so what do we care? So with all that out of the way, teams are finally formed. We got Shiki, Homare, and Jin. And before the game even starts, Shiki and Jin are already going at it. Dude, you have to put up with each other for an hour. You could at least get along for that long. But nope. These two gotta go right at it as soon as the game starts. But Shiki can't use any powers. So what does he do? He picks up a stick. Well, Jin has Choso like powers, but instead of beams like Choso can do, Jin has blades come out of the stitches on his body. So it's pretty fair to say Shiki is out of his depths. And all this is happening while Homare can't do a single thing because she's too timid. And so ends the final chapters of Volume 1. First off, let's rate the cover art. I'd have to say the cover art, out of 10, I'd probably give it a I'll give it a I'll give it a 7. It's pretty good. It's a different style than what I'm used to. But it's nothing really too amazing. It's not like it's this big artistry statement. I just give it a 7 because it's a really good cover and it just looks really nice. I'd have to give the actual story art probably around an 8 because it's really good art styles. It covers the motions pretty well. I'd have to give the story probably a 5 because it's not terrible, but at the same time, you've seen it before. It probably needs more storyline in order to get into what makes it so different. So I'd like to give it a 5 out of 10 for now, but maybe that can be changed down the road. For the characters, honestly, I'd give it like a 6 or a 7 because yeah, I've been ragging on them being copies, but at the same time, they're not total rip-offs. Like, they're still interesting characters that you can like. Spice-o-meter gets a 0. There was nothing about this that was spicy at all, so obviously that's going to stay that way. As far as overall rating, I would want to give it. I'll give it a 7 because it's definitely new. A lot of the concepts aren't that new, but overall, it is a new series, so I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. I mean, when I first started reading this, I thought it was pretty interesting, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Do I suggest someone else to read it? Yes. It'll probably take some time to start making up its own character, but I would definitely give it a 7 out of 10, and I would definitely say send it to a friend. Anyway, guys, that wraps up my first review. Like, subscribe, God bless you, peace.